We are from Middle East. We have first-hand experience. We know that Middle East, unfortunately, is downtown of the world. Like these idiots that they were marching towards Gaza, and the guy said, "Why can't we do it here? We can do it in America." The Egyptian police was, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah,
When you see this question, you realize this motherfucker doesn't know shit about Middle East. I mean, he's in his own illusion. I mean, when you go to Egypt and you say, why can't we march and protest here? Because we can do it in America. You don't know shit about Middle East. Middle East is for profits. If you one of the things that I hate about my region is that in Middle East, no matter which country, you have to be always focused because someone is there to scam you, someone
no, yeah,
is
of
there
course.
to fuck you up. You have to be always in a kind of the constant focus.
Paranoia.
I hate this.
You have to be
I
in a constant state of paranoia.
Yeah, really. I mean,
because
I
it's a,
hate this.
because most Middle Eastern countries are low trust societies.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
true.
lack of trust between the people themselves and the people in the institutions, the people in the leadership. There's a huge lack of trust. It is one of those
Mm,
things where, um, in Egypt, if somebody screws you over, right? If somebody screws you over, it's because you're stupid and they're smart. That's how they see it, right? That's why they don't really have a
mm,
problem with it. Because if you didn't want to get screwed over, you should have been smarter, right? And like my parents, like even though like they don't they're good people, right? Like they're not the type of people that screw people over, but like they view it still in like they'll see somebody get screwed over and their instinct will be, oh, they should have been smarter, not that the other
mm.
person is, uh should be a
Cheater.
better person.
Yeah.
There's no like they should, no, the other person should have been smarter. And maybe some cases that's true. Maybe, you shouldn't trust so easily. You should, be a little bit more skeptical. But at the end of the day, the person who was kind and trusting is, secondary problem to the person who was a scammer and a cheater. And um it's
And
just
really, I mean, in with the case of Iran, I can say about my country, Islam played a big, big part to ruining the this trust between the people in the society. In my case, about Iran, at least with my own experience, I can say, and this Islamic colonization and the stuff that they have brought, and the discrimination that they've started with jizya, if you're Zoroastrian or Christian or whatever, you have to pay extra tax. This kind of stuff that they would kind of shuffle the structure of the society, not for good.
mhm,
They would, it would promote this kind of misbehaviors and mistrust
right.
because it's so interesting. It's so interesting. I found out that during Achaemenid Empire, Cyrus the Great, and
Yeah.
this kind of stuff in Iran, Greeks, they had a kind of phrase for some stuff that they can't change it. So when you have something or a matter or whatever that you can't change it, they would say in ancient Greece, that it's not Achaemenid law that you can't change. So I realized, shit, we Iranians, that's one of my feelings. I feel always pity for
Mhm.
Iranians. I say, why we are not following, or Middle Eastern, why we are not following the rule of law? Why don't we demand that? We want law and order. And I realized actually we had a culture that we were following law and we were respecting law and order. We had this phrase among Greeks, our enemies. And so something ruined this culture. And I'm 100% sure that it's not just for Iranians, because when we are talking about Achaemenid Empire, we are talking about tens of countries. Egypt was the under Achaemenid Empire. Nowadays, Turkey. The first term of Islamic Khalifa was not that much successful. The second one, I think Abbasian was better. And why? Because they took the bureaucracy and skills of Iranian noble families before Islam, the Sasani Empire, and Egyptians. For example, Barmakian family. They didn't invent anything. They didn't do anything. You know, really, Islam and its colonization, in my opinion, again, I say for my region, but at least I'm sure about my country, has ruined a culture of trust, law and order.